Hey guys, JMMREVIEW here and welcome to this video. It's my favourite games of 2015. 2015 has been one of the best years in gaming for me for a long time, so I thought I'd make a quick video and just show all the games I got this year. And first of all, I think it's probably a good idea to put it in a little bit of perspective. 2014 for me was a pretty bad year in gaming. In fact, the only new IP I got in 2014 was Alien Isolation. For me, it was the best survival horror game to have come out in a really long time. I actually already made a video of Alien Isolation, so I'll leave annotations throughout this video for if you want to know a little bit more on my thoughts on each of the games, because I'll probably mention a lot of games here that I've already covered. The only other new IP I bought, and I thought it was going to be a survival horror, was Evil Within, and I was just so disappointed with this game when it came out, and that's part of the reason why I love Alien Isolation so much, because it just showed what a survival horror should be. So for me, 2014 was just basically spent buying lots of HD collections and replaying older games that I loved. So most of 2014 for me was spent playing the Metal Gear Solid collection in HD, the Hitman collection, the Silent Hill 2 collection, and the Serious Sam HD collection. I actually had the Metal Gear Solid HD collection for probably a few years even before that, but there's just so much to do in that collection that I'll probably be playing that for years. I've still barely even made a dent in the Hitman HD collection, but I love that series, and especially the older ones, and I'd love to maybe go back and make some videos of it sometime. But as much as I loved playing these old HD collections, and I love how they're now available on the Xbox 360 for me, I was beginning to give up hope on the game industry, and I wasn't really holding out much hope for 2015. 2015 pretty much started out the same way that 2014 was, and I got my hands on Resident Evil 1 Remake. And at the time I kind of thought, this doesn't really need to be done. I had just played it a few years beforehand to make a video on the origins of survival horror, and I mean, I played it on the GameCube and I thought it was perfectly fine. I didn't see anything really wrong with the graphics. But when I finally did get my hands on it, I really did enjoy it. The remake, I think, sharpened everything up. It didn't really add much more, but I started to speedrun it, and I had never done that before, and it kind of opened up a whole new way of playing Resident Evil to me. And really what you're doing when you're speedrunning that game is you're playing it the most efficient way. So, whereas before I would have been playing this game and kind of just been running around a mansion, getting lost, and not really knowing what I was doing, I did that the first playthrough, and then I started thinking, right, well, let's try and speedrun this and see how quickly I can do it. And I really enjoyed that way of playing it. I didn't really get a chance to make any videos of Resident Evil Remastered, but the good news is January 2016 we're getting an Origin collection, which is Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 0 remastered. So hopefully I'll get much more chance to make videos on it whenever I get my hands on that. But for me, things didn't really kick off in 2015 until E3 happened. And very shortly after E3, surprisingly shortly after, we got our hands on Rare Replay. And that was just, if someone came onto a forum and posted and said, let's say a week before E3, and they said, Microsoft are going to announce that Rare Replay is coming out, and we're going to have 30 games, and we're going to get a physical copy of Perfect Dark. Well, kind of physical. I mean, it's a disc, and it kind of downloads, but there are physical. I think things like lots of Nintendo games anyway, Banjo-Kazooie, Killer Instinct, I think they all kind of reside in the disc. I just wouldn't have believed them. I just would have said there's no way that we're going to get all that, and not only that, but within, I think it was a matter of months, it was pretty much announced, and it just felt like almost no time had passed and we got our hands on it. And it's just, it's something I've always wanted, is to have Perfect Dark on a disc, the Xbox Live Arcade version, and that's kind of what I've got now. But there was another crazy statistic I remember hearing, and that's that there are more Nintendo 64 games now on the Xbox One than there are on the Wii U, the digital marketplace for the Wii U. So that's just really blew my mind, and I mean, I'm a huge Nintendo 64 fan. I love the Nintendo 64 games. That's what I grew up playing. So I couldn't. I was going to buy an Xbox One, but that just tipped it over and saw, right, now I'm definitely going to get one now. That now is the time to get one. I mean, technically, Microsoft and Rare could have released these games periodically. I mean, they would have had no trouble getting £6 or £7 or more for Conker's Bad Fur Day alone, and similar with some of the other games. My Xbox One was the Master Chief Collection, so I got that, which was just a digital download, and then I came with Rare Replay. But my friend was like, you've spent £300 on essentially so that you can play old Nintendo 64 games that have been slightly upscaled in graphics, and the truth is actually even stranger than that, because I got the Master Chief Collection, I got Rare Replay, and I got Gears of War. Now, Gears of War was, of course, already released on the Xbox 360, and a lot of the Rare Replay games, actually, likes of Banjo-Kazooie and Perfect Dark Xbox Live Arcade, it's got Nuts and Bolts on there, Jetpack Refueled. So essentially in 2014 on my Xbox 360 I was just replaying games from the previous generation upscaled in HD, and now in 2015 I bought an Xbox One so that I could replay games that I already have on my Xbox 360. I know that doesn't really make much sense, but a lot of the new IPs can be really disappointing, I found lately, so there's something nice and secure about buying a remake because you know what you're going to get essentially. Especially with something that's online like Gears of War, because there's an interesting dynamic there, because the original Gears of War has slightly died out. If you went back and tried to play it on the 360, there won't obviously be as many people playing it. It's an old game. So in some ways it's like a second start, and it's like a whole new community just jumps on there, and it brings a lot of life back into the game. But I've made an entirely separate video on Gears of War, and it was definitely one of my favourite games of 2015, so make sure you check that video out. I'll leave an annotation somewhere. The only games I got that weren't previously released was Metal Gear 5, and I'm actually just looking at the case, and it's nice to see for a change that you actually get something in the case. A lot of times you buy games and you just get the game and there's no manual or nothing. Actually, that didn't come with a manual. Most games won't come with a manual anymore, but there's quite a nice little map here. Oh, it isn't opening right. Hold on. Yeah. And actually, the other new game I got was Fallout. Now, these are both open world games, but obviously Fallout's an entirely different open world, and it came with a nice little it's not a map actually, it's this little Vault-Tec. It shows you all the different I don't know if you can see that or not. It shows you all the different little specialized perks you can get. What I loved about Fallout 4 was that they didn't force you into doing anything. There's a base building element to the game. You can customize your base, build new things, but you don't have to do that. It's just there, and if you want to do it, you can do it. There's nothing forcing you to do it. There was nowhere in the game that felt really off limits from the start. I played Fallout New Vegas for the first time in 2015, and in that game you're not really supposed to get straight to Vegas at the start, and that kind of bugged me a bit. There's a whole pile of stuff you have to do and rank up before you're actually strong enough to fight your way to New Vegas, which is fine. I mean, if that's the game dynamic they want it, that's fine, but whenever I play Fallout 4 now, it just feels so free to do whatever I want and just go wherever I want. And there just seems like there's always something to explore. If you just head off in any direction, you're going to find something interesting and something that you want to explore. And if you're going to make an open world game, I think that it has to have that feeling. So for me, Fallout 4 was just the best new game I had played this year. One other game I have only found out about since recording the footage for this video is Turok the Dinosaur Hunter Enhanced. I only found out about this game right at the end of December, and within 2 days of finding out about it, it had been released. It came out on December 17th, and I made a playthrough of the first level the first day I got it. And I really hope to continue that playthrough and make some other videos of it. And I can already tell, after only playing a very small amount of it, that it's one of my favourite games of 2015 as well. One last game I just want to spend a little bit of time talking about is the Escapist, the Walking Dead edition. Now, I'm always looking for new zombie games to buy, because I'm making a new top 10 zombie games for the Xbox One, and I just found this game. I didn't even really know much about it, but I was just kind of looking for zombie games, I guess, and I don't know how, but I managed to find this, and it was really cheap. I only got it for like, I think it was £12 or something, so it was really a good price, and I'm seriously looking forward to playing it. It's still in the shrink wrap right now, because it's actually my Christmas present from my wife, so I haven't actually got a chance to play it yet, but I'm really looking forward to playing that game, and hopefully I'm really sure it will be pretty highly placed on my top 10 list, because from what I've seen of it, it looks really, really good. So that was a little wrap up of what games I've been playing in 2015. I said at the start of the video that I think 2015 was the best year for gaming in pretty much for as long as I can remember. And that's not only because of the games that were released, but it's because of the games that were announced. I mean, in E3 we got an announcement for Shenmue 3. I never thought that would ever be announced, that would come out. We also got an announcement for Final Fantasy VII, which again was one of those things that they kept talking about, and it was just at the point where we thought it would never happen, I think. And more recently, the announcement of Resident Evil 2, which fans have been just crying out for, and I'm going to hopefully make a video on survival horror and why I think Resident Evil 2 should be a survival horror. So I'm working on that with someone else at the minute, and I've got an interesting script written. So I think that's what makes 2015 so good. It gives me a lot of faith that 2016 is going to be an interesting year. There's going to be so much coming out, and I'm looking forward to covering it all. I couldn't have said that in 2014. If you asked me what my thoughts on, what 2015 would be like, it would be nothing like this. Like, I wouldn't have expected getting Rare Replay and some of the other games I got my hands on. The Gears was a really interesting game for me to go back and play, and I've had a lot of fun playing that. So yeah, I think it has been a good year, and I think 2016 is going to be even better. But I'm sure there are a bunch of games I haven't mentioned that you probably think that deserve to have had some acknowledgement. I just probably didn't have either the budget or the time to play. I mean, obviously I didn't have time to play every game that's out there, but I would love to hear from you, and for you to tell me, maybe not even your favourite games, but just some of the games you played in 2015 that I maybe missed out on, and hopefully I can go back and pick those games up, and just be interesting to know what you guys were playing in 2015. So thanks for watching, and I'm looking forward to hearing some of your favourite games.